Hi, this is Rachel Gold, and I'm going to read to you from my third young adult novel titled My Year Zero. I would tell you some things about it, but actually the narrator Lauren is very good at that, so I'm just going to get started and let her tell you. Chapter 1. When I met Blake, I had no idea that she would destroy my life. She was this small person, darkly incandescent, vibrating with nervous energy, eyes blue-gray like a kingfisher's wing, moving as fast. I should have known by the way she went on about infinities and zero. Who falls in love with zero? But I'm ahead of myself. The story doesn't start with Blake. As with most great stories, it starts with sex. A few months after I'd turned 16, I figured it was time to have sex. Almost half of American teens have had sex before they turn 17, so if I could get laid this year, I'd be a little ahead of the curve. And I'm talking about girl-girl sex here, so it wasn't like I had to worry about getting her pregnant. I didn't want to just get laid. I'd settle for it, but I wanted the whole deal. I wanted holding hands and making out and gifts and movie dates. I wanted to fall in love. This was 100 times harder than I wanted it to be because I lived in a town of 86,000 that felt like a town of 8,000. My plan was to get myself down to the Twin Cities for the Pride Festival that summer. This meant 6 months to get into pick-upable shape. My best getting picked up asset is my body, which resembles a department store mannequin except alive, stretched out longer than it should be, and with a bit of muscle. My face is cubist art, long blocky nose that would look okay if I had well-defined cheekbones, but I don't. My cheeks are shapeless and prone to blotchiness. If I had any chance at getting hit on, it was going to be in a tank top. Which is why I was in the weight room of the gym during fourth period while everyone else was playing volleyball. Also, I hate team sports. First off, I hate sports, and I hate groups, so team sports are double the hate. I told the gym teacher I was getting over an ear infection brought on by Duluth's teeth-freezingly cold wind. I shouldn't run around a bunch. Could I go to the weight room instead? I liked lifting weights. I mean, hand weights, not some massive deadlift Miss Universe thing. Wait, Miss Universe is a beauty pageant, but Mr. Universe is a muscle guy? That's messed up. The thing about weights is that it's me against myself, and frankly, I'm pretty easy to beat, so I get to win a lot. The weight room smelled like dirty socks that had been ground into a manure pile by an asphalt truck, but I had it to myself. That was more than I could say for any other part of my school day. I was sitting on the end of a weight bench doing bicep curls and humming along with my iPod. Okay, I was singing. Not loud and certainly not on key. The song blasting through my headphones was Hailstorm's Break In. I switched from the well of self-pity, I'd never have anyone to make me feel defenseless and known like Lizzie Hale was singing about, to feeling like it had to happen eventually. The last few lines might have come out of my mouth at an audible volume. I finished the set and glanced at the clock over the door. A woman was leaning against the frame, grinning at me. Not mean grinning, amused, eye-crinkly grinning. She had purple-streaked hair and a short, curvy body emphasized by the charcoal and pomegranate sundress that clung to her hips. Over the dress was a worn leather jacket, and below it, heavy black motorcycle boots, very much like no one I had ever seen before. It's not like I'm prone to hallucinations, but I have a vivid imagination, and I figured it had finally gone over the edge. It made sense. School was that dull this year, and my possible sex life that arid. She jerked her chin at me and said, "Hey, I'm the Queen of Rogues." "Oh," I said, "I am hallucinating." She laughed. "Nah, this is my hair's natural color." I realized I was holding the 5-pound, totally not impressive weights up by my shoulders and put them down. "I'm Lauren," I said, still not sure she was real, but it's never a bad idea to be polite. "Are you lost?" "I came to meet a friend for lunch," she said. "And decided to wander into the weight room?" "I heard singing," she replied with a smirk. I blushed and looked away, which is when my brain started to kick in. This might be a real human being, and I was missing my opportunity to say something clever like, "I always thought the Rogues were a democracy." "Where's the cafeteria?" she asked. "It's across the hall from the big gym," I told her. Instead of leaving to find said cafeteria, she sat on the weight bench across from me. I didn't think she was that much older, but she seemed elegant and cute and edgy compared to my lanky, awkward, and moist. Her hair was a honeycomb brown with thick streaks of dark purple that made her alabaster cheeks seem even whiter. Shoulder-length messy curls, plus the round shape of her face, gave her a mischievous fallen angel look. "How did you get to be queen?" I asked, uncomfortably aware of my damp t-shirt and sports bra, all gangles and sweat. I added, I thought the rogues were democratic. The words sounded much stupider coming out of my mouth than they had in my head. She laughed, a lips mostly closed chuckle, like someone took a bigger laugh and compressed it into her mouth, or like she'd learned to laugh in a way that didn't mess with her candy apple lip gloss. I'm Sierra, she said, and in a somber tone she added, it's not a democracy. Yeah, of course not. Do you want me to walk you over to the cafeteria? Give me a sec to change. Sure. I intended to walk sedately into the locker room, but it was more like drunken weaving since I was so thrown off balance from this conversation. Girls with orchid-streaked hair didn't just show up in my life. Had I conjured her? Certainly not with my singing, that was more appropriate to banishing, but with my wishing for someone to be in my life. She was probably straight, I told myself as I threw on jeans, a non-damp bra, an undershirt, and a flannel. I patted my hair down with wet hands so it wasn't so frizzolated. Statistically, most people were straight. I jammed my feet into my dark martens, and while I tied them, went over her appearance like I could puzzle her out. The sundress was pure straight girl, but not the boots. They were heavily scuffed in the toe, like she'd had them forever. The leather jacket was worn, too. That had to be a good sign. Her hair, what did that mean? When I came back into the weight room, Sierra was still there, existing. She followed me into the hall. Where did you come from? I asked, and it sounded all blunt and weird, so I added, you don't go here. I'm really from another galaxy, she said, but that's a long story. I'm up from the cities with my family. A friend of mine goes here, and we told the office I'm a senior considering a transfer so I could come hang out. You're not? First year of college. I figured it'd be fun to hop on a bus and come out for lunch and maybe sit in a class of hers to remind me why college is 1,000 times better. Fun to hop on a bus, in the snow, in December, in a sundress. Wool stockings, she said, the smirk back on her lips. There's my friend. You want to eat with us? I'm in the next lunch period. Maybe I'll see you later, she said. Yeah. She was already walking away, waving to her friend, some senior-looking girl I didn't know. I wandered back into the hall, trying to remember what class I was supposed to go to and wondering if all that had actually happened.